Go, 10, 9, I'm gonna shut up now. No one follows shoutouts. Exactly.
Welcome to the Sea of Thieves 2024 preview event, where we're going to give you your first look at some of the exciting features coming to Sea of Thieves here. We're going to share information around what's coming in Seasons 12 and 13, as well as even further into the future, with a sneak peek behind the curtain on Season 14. So grab a grog and get ready for adventure, as we reveal some of the incredible bounty of features headed to Sea of Thieves in 2024.
Sea of Thieves is a pirate sandbox adventure game where players create those stories together. And in the world of Sea of Thieves, there are tools and items that may seem simple on the surface, but when they're in the hands of real players who are playing in their own way and bringing their creativity, it really showcases that the sandbox is more than the sum of its parts, as it creates these memorable stories.
This year, in 2024, our focus is on giving you more tools, more possibilities, and with that freedom out on the waves, give you the possibilities to have these amazing moments and really changing up the core moment-to-moment gameplay of the sandbox.
The kind of main aims for Season 12 are about mixing up the meta and how players enjoy all of the different aspects of Sea of Thieves. So as part of Season 12, we're going to be adding 2 new weapons and 3 new tools for players to use.
An area we haven't really delved into since launch is adding new weapons to the game. New weapons that give you new tactical choices and strategies out there on your adventures.
Let me know if there's
So in
anything wrong
Season
with the audio.
12, we're going to be adding the double-barrel pistol and throwing knives.
The double-barrel flintlock is a new type of pistol weapon where you can fire 2 shots individually before you need to reload, or you can charge them together and release them at once for a more powerful shot.
We wanted to kind of create this new weapon archetype that's a bit shorter range, but a faster fire rate, but perhaps not as powerful or damaging as the flintlock pistol. But then it has those kind of blunderbuss-like qualities as well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
Accompanying that double-barrel flintlock with another weapon like the cutlass, for example, for a finishing blow can lead to a fast time to kill for a player to be able to quickly take down a target.
Season 12 also brings in the throwing knives as a weapon. Now, these can be used as a melee item. They have a light and a heavy melee action, but they can also be thrown and used at range as well.
You can use it to kind of like stab players with like a quick attack, but that doesn't do much damage. Or you can charge it to like pull it into this kind of more dangerous stabbing motion. That'll slow the player's movement down and give this like really high damage attack for if you like sneak up behind players. And then finally, it has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which again kind of feels like a trick shot, and it'll do a lot of damage as well.
When you throw a throwing knife, and if you miss, you can actually go in the world and it'll stick into any of the geometry, and you can just pull it out and then it'll replenish your ammo. So I think personally for me this is really good, because sometimes I miss, as I'm sure some of us do. So you can then just go ahead and pick it up again.
So you get these wonderful moments where
talk about them.
a pirate might throw a knife at you, but then you can retrieve that knife and throw it back to them. So
I'm gonna point out
it'll
things that you
really
might not have
mix up
caught
the kind
while they're doing
of
it.
combat scenarios you can expect out in the world and when boarding other ships.
There are 3 new tools in Season 12, the Wind Caller, the Scatter Shot, and the Bone Caller.
With the scatter shot, the way that it's different to a standard cannonball is it's a collection of 4 cannonballs, but they're much smaller. They have a much shorter fall-off in range and a really wide spread, allowing you to hit a target with multiple projectiles at the same time.
And it does really small amounts of damage to the ship, just like a level 1 size hole. So like really quick for players to repair, but it can kind of overwhelm a crew quite quickly.
Basically, if you get up close with the scatter shot and you can get a few onto your enemy, they're going to have a lot of holes and they're going to have a pretty bad time.
What it will do is really eat up an opponent's resources. They'd need to use more wood to repair the many holes that the scatter shot puts into the hull.
So the Bone Caller is an awesome new throwable that players can wield, and they can throw that on the floor, and when it smashes, all these kind of bones come out, and then skeletons spawn around the player in allegiance to them, and they'll actually fight beside the player against enemy players and enemy AI.
Now you might not be going straight for just a normal cannonball or a chain shot. You might in fact go straight for the bone caller, so you can have some skellies that are on your side on that ship, sort of messing things up for that crew.
You could use fire to fight fire. So if somebody shoots a bone caller across the sea at your ship and they spawn in, if you have your own bone caller, you could throw that down on the deck and have your own skellies go and fight those to take them out for you so that you don't have to.
I mostly play solo, and to be able to spawn literally anything that is friendly to my cause while I'm playing is a massive positive. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I'm sure that other players will find ways to make use of it as well.
The wind caller is a new horn-shaped shell that players can blow into to summon the power of the winds. So imagine the scenario that you're heading fully into the wind and you're either chasing someone or you're trying to get away from someone. Now you can use this tool to blow wind into your sails and go even beyond full billow in speed.
Players can also use it to kind of knock players back off their ship or on land, so they can kind of target a player, blow into the wind caller, and it will throw them back into the air.
You can use it as a means of propulsion for yourself in the water, but also for rowing boats. So you can either use it while you're in the water swimming and you'll blast along like a really fast water boatman, or you can stand on a rowing boat and blast it out the back like a speedboat, basically.
You can put out fires and you can do it quickly. So you can just essentially walk around, your entire ship is caught on fire, and just put out all the fires as you walk around.
And they can even use it to like stop their fall damage. Like say you're falling a great distance and you use the wind caller below you, like cushion your fall so you like land safely as well. There is like a finite charge for how long the wind caller can last for, so you have to use it wisely.
So Season 12 also introduces zip lines onto several of the islands around Sea of Thieves. So you may have seen these as they debuted in the Monkey Island Tall Tales, and they're a really fun and exhilarating way to traverse. So it's really cool to be able to bring those to the wider Sea of Thieves world.
So we've been looking across all the islands of the Sea of Thieves and looking at the most ideal places to kind of mix up the traversal opportunities within all of the islands to add these zip lines across them. So we've added zip lines to like the outpost to get down to your ship quickly. We've added them to the skeleton forts that allow you to kind of zip line between two positions to kind of escape the skeletons or get close to them when they first spawn, or just general kind of zip lines across the islands for like fast traversal and moving chests around the islands quickly.
For example, on Ancient Spire Outpost now, you've got to clunk down some cliffs in order to get to your ship. Now you'll be able to just go and get on the zip line and go flying all the way down to the jetty next to your ship.
So alongside adding completely brand new tools to the Sea of Thieves sandbox, there's also the opportunity for us to go back and add completely brand new functionality to existing tools.
So another cool new feature that we're adding for Season 12 is the ability to balance on harpoon lines. So you can shoot that harpoon line at another ship or another island and then jump onto it and then like balance across. Depending on the angle in which you fire the harpoon, it'll either be like too steep to climb up it, but if you're on the other end, you can actually jump on the harpoon line and like slide down it really quickly back to your ship.
We're really confident this will lead to some really inventive player boarding tactics out there in the sandbox, as well as giving you new ways to traverse the islands.
With all this that we're adding in Season 12, it gives players more opportunities to create those stories as we're really enriching the sandbox of every session.
So we're always really excited to add new tools and mechanics to Sea of Thieves, but we're always mindful that we want to make sure that the game's health is in a really good position as well, that the integrity of Sea of Thieves is there for our players. And since we're adding new weapons into Sea of Thieves, we're very mindful that we want to ensure that the hit registration in our game is as rock solid as it can be. And this is an ongoing thing for us as a development team. We're constantly putting time and effort into this area to try and make it as robust as possible.
In the past, we've borrowed time from feature teams to address issues in the core experience, but it's always taken a back seat to the features that those teams are working on. In 2024, this is changing. We're securing a dedicated team to focus on the health of the game, bringing fixes and improvements to the things that matter most to our players as soon as they're ready as part of our regular monthly updates. This is going to be a key focus for the team this year. We want your Sea of Thieves experience to be the best that it can be. Adding new loadout choices
All
as
that
part
they
of
were just
upcoming
talking about
seasons
was season
shows our
12, so we haven't
commitment
got
to
to 13
making
and 14.
encounters between players a more dynamic and fun experience. But crucially, this all has to operate on a stable combat system. We know that there's still plenty of work to do here, but this remains a top priority for our team. March's update delivered Easy Anti-Cheat, an industry-leading anti-cheat solution designed by Epic. This solution evolves over time, keeping up with cheat developers, blocking them at every turn. This is really, though, just the first step at improving the player experience here in Sea of Thieves.
We want to focus this year on making Sea of Thieves play better than ever before, whether that be improving the performance of the game across the variety of hardware it runs on, ensuring that it's a safe place to play with a focus on cheating, but also ensuring that our hit registration is as reliable as possible in all of your adventures out there in the sandbox. So Captain Flameheart has been a staple and important character of Sea of Thieves for many years, appearing in our novels and appearing in our many tall tales and expanded fiction. With Season 13, this brings the return of Captain Flameheart to the Sea of Thieves.
Finally!
As Flameheart has been resurrected, so has his Burning Blade ship, and it's back in more monstrous and terrifying form than ever before. So we've reimagined it for Season 13, and it looks incredible. It almost looks like a living entity itself.
So traditionally, world events have been at set locations throughout the world. The Burning Blade is a little different. The Burning Blade is a ship, and therefore moves around the world.
But the twist is, when you've defeated the ship, you have the option to board it and pledge yourself and your crew to Flameheart, enter into his service, and become the crew of the Burning Blade. Essentially
my
becoming
goodness.
a player-created world event yourselves.
So obviously we have to go in big with this one. At a base, it is larger and more formidable than any ship we've seen on the waves.
This ship has 10 cannons. It has a statue room dedicated to Flameheart at the back. It has a balcony where Flameheart likes to take in the view every morning with his coffee. And most importantly, it's got a massive flamethrower at the front.
Players will be able to pull a lever on their ship and fire 2 massive balls of fire out the front of their ship, which is really interesting because we've never actually had an offensive weapon that's frontal facing before. So I think this is going to create some really interesting dynamic naval combat situations.
So once you take over the Burning Blade, you are on this really powerful warship, and you have a skeleton crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade because the skeletons will come to your aid.
So you could have skeletons repairing while you're on the cannons firing at enemies, which is excellent.
But it's not just about sailing around the world, which of course you can do. It's about completing orders in service of Captain Flameheart. So around the world, there'll be numerous skeleton camps.
You'll notice the Reapers have been conducting excavations on the surface, and they've been dragging up all sorts of ancient artifacts and ancient secrets from below the surface.
Underground, there's basically a chamber with a prism that the players can control to draw out constellations on the ceiling in order to help the ritual come to completion and get that knowledge of the ancients.
Each of these temples contains the secrets of the ancients, secrets that Flameheart wants above anything else. And as part of taking control of the ship, you'll be able to sail around the world, visit these ancient temples deep below these skeleton camps, engaging new puzzle gameplay, discover treasures, but what you're really after is the Orb of Secrets, a new treasure artifact that Flameheart wants. Collecting these secrets will add tribute to the Burning Blade ship.
That is an
The more
amazing
tribute
ship.
that you collect, the more value will be aboard the Burning Blade. But you will lose the Burning Blade if it sinks or when you choose to go and cash that tribute into Flameheart. So it's really up to you how long you think you can hold on to it with that risk reward, because everybody in the world is going to be coming for you. They're going to know you're in there and know you've got high value. So it really becomes this dynamic player-created world event with players versus players in the sandbox.
So even though you can visit these skeleton camps while in control of the Burning Blade, it's not only tightly wedded to that new gameplay. Players can also visit them anytime in their adventures. So should players visit these skeleton camps when they're not the crew of the Burning Blade, the skeletons won't be too happy that you've found a way inside these camps, and you'll be engaging in a combat-focused encounter to discover its secrets.
What's really exciting about Season 13 is the interplay of the features and the way that they'll bring players together and combine to create new stories. And whether you're the crew of the Burning Blade who wants to protect it,
Look
or
at the
everyone
size
else who
of that
wants to
ship.
take it down and steal that value, everything in Season 13 will bring you together.
So towards the end of the year, we have Season 14, and while it's very early for us to talk about, we wanted to share some of their thinking here because it is totally aligned with this vision for what 2024 can be, this laser focus on the sandbox and mechanics that add to the variety of stories you can encounter in Sea of Thieves.
Internally, we're referring to Season 14 as Pirates of Mischief. Sea of Thieves has always had this playful, mischievous, and funny sense of humour. And with Season 14, we're expanding on that. The two main areas that we're exploring are new ways to stealth and new ways to cause mischief in the world.
So I think a real aspect of the Sea of Thieves experience that we haven't dived too deep into previously is the idea of being a stealthy pirate.
So when you think about stealth in Sea of Thieves and enhancing that, imagine being able to crouch and move around the world silently, or the ability to hang off the side of an enemy's ship.
When we were having these initial conversations about Season 14, the first thing I thought of was the cardboard boxes in Metal Gear Solid. Could we allow players to climb into chests, and if they choose, they can actually scuttle around with their little legs out the bottom? And also, if they choose to, keep the ruse up, could other players come along and pick them up like a normal loot chest or treasure chest or whatever and take it onto their ship?
So another cool thing that we've been working on is
There's
the
no
glow
gameplay
dart,
with
which
this,
is another
so
new
they're just
weapon
talking
that players
concept.
can wield from the armory and use that to kind of sneak aboard enemy ships and fire kind of these custom darts into players that will do different effects.
So imagine a blow dart that tracks whatever it sticks to, whether that's a ship, a chest, an item, a player.
Ones that could potentially like lure skeletons to like a specific position, so you can throw a firebomb in there, or explode a gunpowder keg, or darts that can trigger specific sound effects, which is quite evil and cunning, where you could board an enemy ship and shoot the capstan and it sounds like it's dropping, or shoot the ladders and it sounds like someone's climbing up them.
And then thinking about some of the ways that we want to add more mischief to the world, one of these is the idea of traps.
So much like the kind of blunderbombs or firebombs, we've been thinking about them being this kind of throwable trap that players can kind of throw into the world. Think of it like a spring trap that players can place on the islands to trap skeletons on a bounty or on a fort, or they could place it at the top of their ladders to prevent players from boarding their ships and get caught in this trap.
Along with these, we're also bringing a really exciting new tool, and it's the grapple gun, which is a dual-purpose rifle. So it allows you to traverse the environment much quicker because you're able to grapple yourself up to a ledge, for example. But you can also harpoon items and other players in.
So some of the new cool uses we've seen from the grapple gun in our early playtests are players firing themselves out of the cannon towards another ship to try and board them, and perhaps overcooking it and then using the grapple gun to fire it at the deck and propel themselves down onto it, or jumping off their ship to like an oncoming ship and then using the grapple gun to kind of grapple up and onto their ship so that they can board them and drop their anchor or have a fight with them.
To make sure that the grapple gun is balanced, it does have ammunition. You'll have arrowheads, and these essentially break off when you successfully use the grapple gun, meaning you can't continuously keep grappling. There is a skill to using the gun successfully and accurately and efficiently.
So when we think about 2024, we really think about getting to the very heart of what makes Sea of Thieves great. That is your stories, powered by that design philosophy of tools, not rules. Season 12, 13 and 14 are fully exploring that, giving you new options, new tools, and fundamentally new possibilities that make this game unique and special.
I think when you look at the year ahead for Sea of Thieves, our plans for Season 12, Season 13 and Season 14, It's kind of making this shift away from these big kind of systemic changes to Sea of Thieves and returning back to the core of what makes Sea of Thieves so special, the heart of Sea of Thieves.
That's so amazing.
Giving players new tools to create new stories out there in the world.
We're ultimately shaking up the meta, giving players new tools to learn and master. And I can't wait to see what combinations players start settling on before we shake it back up again.
While everything that you're seeing today is still work in progress and possibly subject to change in some ways, we will be giving more insights onto how these things are developing as we come closer to launch for each of them.
With the richness of all these new seasons, and of course PlayStation Pirates joining us as well, it is such an exciting year for Sea of Thieves in 2024.
Thank you for joining us for the Sea of Thieves 2024 preview event. We hope you've enjoyed this sneak peek at what's coming throughout the rest of the year. There's still a lot more to reveal for these seasons, so keep an eye on the horizon as we'll have more to share closer to each season's launch. For more information and to keep up to date with what's new in Sea of Thieves, check out our social channels. So until our paths cross again, happy sailing, and we'll see you on the seas.
All right, we are going to go back over this, okay? Because let me tell you, this isn't just an update or like a DLC. This is a complete overhaul of the entire game. The way you play Sea of Thieves is going to change. This is going to be the best year they've ever had, save for if it comes with a ton of bugs that are just make it unplayable, which I'm sure they're going to address because they can't have that for the PlayStation launch. If they have PlayStation launch and too many bugs, it'll look really bad for them. So I'll guarantee you they have as many people dedicated to bug fixes as possible because they need this to make it refreshed as if it's a brand new game, because this is a brand new game. Like, the things that they're adding into this radically change the game. So I want to go over some of the things that they were talking about right about in here.
And move around the
so
world
right here where
silently.
she's talking
Or the
about stealth and ability, just giving a history of yeah, let me get some water. The history of Rare is when they tell you something by concept, it's what they want to put into the game. Many of the things, when they just give you concept without video footage of what they're actively doing, don't make it into the game, and then later they're asked like, why didn't it come through? And they'll say it was because, you know, different development issues, it just wasn't working, whatever. I'm just saying, when they say stuff like this, like crouch, silently being able to do things, take that with a grain of salt, just based on their history. But the other things, showing the grappling hook thing, rifle, that's completely different than concept. They actually have a working model that they showed there, but I don't know if my camera blocked it. Down in the lower right corner, it said that this is still conceptual, but they did have a working model that they were showcasing. So that's a different thing. And mind you, yeah, that's season 14. That is way out there. Owl at the end. Oh, wait, let me... Yes. So they had promised that like more than a year ago, that they were going to bring an owl pet. But let me go back through this real quick, because there's some things that I want to show.
The curtain on season 14. So grab a grog and get ready for adventure as we reveal some of the incredible bounty of features headed to Sea of Thieves in 20. Look at some of the exciting features coming to Sea of Thieves this year. We are going to share
right here. Okay, you guys see them going up a line, and they later said that this is the harpoon line. And they were talking about the angles that it goes on. you can go up to a certain degree, but you'd always come back down. Now, if you look at the person right here in the center, he's carrying a chest. You can carry items. If you can carry items, you can carry kegs. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing here, but very obviously he's carrying a chest. All right? So, I'm just saying.
Share information around what's coming in seasons 12 and 13, as well as even further.
As it creates these memorable stories.
This year, in 2024, our focus is
Trying
on
to find
giving
some of the
you
other
more
things.
tools, more possibilities. So in season 12, we're going to be adding the double barrel pistol and throwing knives.
Okay, these are coming in season 12. Double barrel pistol and the throwing knives. So, damage outputs could be changed on the by season 12, so I'm not going to say anything about damage outputs. Just know utilization wise, what would that mean for double barrel pistol and throwing knives?
Double barrel flintlock is a new type of pistol weapon where you can fire 2 shots individually before you need to reload, or you can charge them together and release them at once for a more powerful shot.
We wanted to kind of create this new weapon archetype that's a bit shorter range, but a faster fire rate, but perhaps not as powerful or damaging as the flintlock pistol.
Okay, so when it says not as damaging as the flintlock pistol, the flintlock does 50% damage, or 50 points of damage if you consider everybody has 100 health and the regular flintlock does 50. He just said that it does less than 50. So each shot is less than 50. Pulling back both hammers will do more than 50. But just understand that. That's at least what he said. Don't know what the damage will be like on the launch, but at least going forward, conceptually, they said it's less than 50.
But then it has those kind of blunderbuss-like qualities as well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
Accompanying
As well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
2 pellets at the same time did not kill the person. Okay?
Accompanying that double barrel flintlock with another weapon like the cutlass, for example, for a finishing blow can lead to a fast time to kill.
Why would you use a double barrel pistol instead of a blunder? Yeah, so they already said that the pistol is not, the range on it is not as much as the regular pistol. And that will definitely be something. Why would you use it instead of a blunder? Oh, actually, I could have probably showed a little bit right here, maybe? Yes. So down here, let me move myself out of the way. So down lower right, you see you got 6 shots, not 5. So your double shot can be up to 3 times, or you can do single shot up to 6. It's really just a utility that you'll have to do. I'm guessing people will keep with the blunder, but the blunder has shorter range. This gives you a little bit of stuff, because I mean, if you look at the distance that he's at, I mean, that's kind of medium range, but still, I mean, it's a new weapon. It's really the knives that I'm into, but I at least wanted to point out some things that they at least showcased here, as far as your utility and what you would use it in for what situation.
But then it has those kind of blunderbuss-like qualities as well, where you can do the charge shot to release 2 pellets at the same time.
Accompanying that double barrel
Item, they have a light and a heavy melee action, but they can also be thrown and used at range as well.
So the knife has 3 functions to it: a light attack, a heavy attack, and then you can throw it.
Oh.
You can use it to kind of like stab players with like a quick attack, but that doesn't.
Okay, he just did a thrust and it blocked it.
do much damage, or you can charge it to like pull it into this kind of more dangerous stabbing motion. That'll slow the player's movement down and give this like really high damage attack for if you like sneak up behind players. And then finally it has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which again kind of feels like a trick shot, and they'll do a lot of damage as well.
When you throw a
He said it will do a lot of damage as well. So when he says a lot, I'm guessing over 50. I can't say specifically, but over 50% damage for throwing the knife. Just guessing what a lot would be. Sword dagger coming in hot. Exactly. See, and that's the thing is, they're both considered melee. They didn't answer some of the questions that you might have. Like, if you have a certain amount of throwable knives, what happens when you throw them all? Do you get to keep the knife? They didn't showcase that here. There's a couple things that they didn't showcase that I don't want to mention, but there's more to it than just this.
throwing knife, and if you miss, you can actually go in the world and it'll stick into any of the geometry and you can just pull it out and then
Retrievable
it'll
ammo.
replenish your ammo. So I think personally for me this is really good because sometimes I miss, as I'm sure some of us do, so you can then just go ahead and pick it up again.
So you get these wonderful moments where a pirate might throw a knife at you, but then you can retrieve that knife and throw it back to them. So it'll really mix up the kind of
That will be nice too, won't it? You use their own ammo against them.
combat scenarios you can expect out in the world and when boarding other ships.
There are 3 new
Okay. These things have me super excited for the game. Okay, these 3 things. All right, right here, you got your scatter shot. And like it said, it fires multiple shots, right? But at a shorter range. And we'll look at some footage of them shooting that. So I can point out a couple things. This thing here is the newest utility coming to the game that I'll point out when they start using them in certain ways, but then we can conceptually say, well, what other scenarios can you use them in? When would it be beneficial? The horn, this horn is a whole other utility as well. You saw that when you use it, you can get billows in your sail, you can put out fires, you can propel yourself in water. There is a lot that you could use with this game. I love how each of these things can be used in multiple formats, Yes, it is to the creativity, which is why they're saying this is tools, not rules, going back to that original concept. And it's really to your own creativity of how to use it. So it's not so much about who's more skilled at cannons, who's more skilled at this. You can really think outside the box with a lot of these new utilities. I'm so excited for the Skelly Bomb. I was so excited to see that it was the season 12 that they put this in, because a lot of the things I have no idea when they're going to be released or when they're going to be. So I saw season 12. Yes, that means it's coming soon, and I want to use these things like everywhere. There's so many scenarios you could use this device for. Okay, I'm gonna get to some of the scenarios that they show.
Pull projectiles at the same time.
Okay, so look, they are fairly, like, this is already too close for ship-to-ship combat, where you would probably try to one-ball the person, but they're using this to scatter the whole deck of the ship. So this is like all top holes, and it's spread out pretty far just from that range. So these things, just looking at how close the ships are, it looks to me like the scatter shot would be more beneficial on a sloop going around a galleon that can put in lower holes, because this is only going to go so low, being this close, and it's probably going to hit the top of the ship like it just did. And so the reason why you would use it on one galleon versus another galleon would probably be to damage other players rather than the ship, but they're not showcasing how much damage it actually does to the player. And we'll have to get into that whenever it's released. I've been saying we need to see NPCs, enemies on the ships, and that's the best way to do it. Yeah, that's when they did Pirates Life, and they were showing sea creatures jumping on the ship. I thought that was coming to the game. I didn't know that that was just part of the tall tale. But I wanted to see something like that. Because I'm telling you, the new meta for this, let me pull it up right here.
The player against enemy players and enemy.
That's going to be the new meta for when you board a ship. Is when you're trying to get onto a galleon, before you even come up to the mast, you're going to throw one of those things and put skeletons on, because they're going to have to deal with them while guarding the ladder. Like, somebody's going to have to deal with them. You could try to ignore them all you want, but you see, this one has a sword, and if a skeleton gets 3 swipes on you, you remember, it bumps you. What if it bumps you off the ship because you're next to the ladder? You're going to have to turn and deal with them. So it's going to change the way that we play the game altogether with these things even in the mix. Now, that's if you're boarding the ship. What if you are on the ladder and you see a boarder and you decide, I'm going to throw some skeletons at my anchor? They're going to defend against anybody coming in. So they might swarm them, and because they have their own hitbox, they might block them getting to it. Just saying conceptually, okay? Also, the harpoon boarding, yes. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a minute.
Me, AI.
Now you might not be going straight for just a normal cannonball or a chain shot. You might in fact go straight for the bone caller, so you can have some skellies that are on your side on that ship. So
that is going to be so much fun. You not only have to have a helmsman that's dealing with that, but you want your main cannoneer to still shoot. Even though those are plain skeletons, they don't look unique.
Sort of messing things up for them.
Just having that, there's, let's see, 1 sword.
That crew.
You could.
That one's got a blunderbuss. Okay, and it's it looks random, right? Because on the other one, they had different weapons. So who knows what kind of weapons they're going to pop up with. But a sword, a blunderbuss, and I don't know if you guys ever run into skeletons with pistols, but they got snipers aimed on that. You can definitely use it defensively to get them off cannons a bit. Yeah, I want to show that. I don't know if they actually... Let me see if I can get...
You can throw that on the floor, and when it smashes, all these kind of bones come out, and then skeletons
they got things turned off.
Spawn around the player in allegiance.
Okay, there's something that I wanted to comment about that, but I don't see it in this, so I'm going to refrain from saying something outside of what they're showcasing.
Caller across the sea at your ship and they spawn in. If you have your own bone caller, you could throw that down on the deck and have your own skellies go and fight those to take them out for you so that you don't have to.
I mostly play solo, and to be able to spawn literally anything that is friendly to my cause while I'm playing is a massive positive. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I'm sure that other players will find ways to make use of it as well.
The wind caller is a new horn-shaped shell that players can blow into to summon the power of the winds. So imagine the scenario that you're heading fully into the wind and you're either
Now, they didn't say anything here, but I can't imagine them implementing an item into this game like that and having it with no ammunition or no depletion, because then you'd have wind in your sails 100% of the time as long as somebody's blowing on it. So I don't feel like that's a stretch to say. I don't believe they would implement that. Who knows what they would do, but
chasing someone or you're trying to get away from someone. Concept. Now you can use this tool to blow wind.
Because, I mean, imagine a galleon with their sails front, and you have a device that can propel you forward. Any galleon that has that, no sloop is getting away from them. They're not going to go into the wind anymore and just get away. This thing is going to be a sloop destroyer.
Wind into your sails and go even beyond full billow in speed.
Players can also use it to kind of knock players back off their ship or on land, so they can kind of target.
Look at how high up that thing is. Can you use that to defend against your borders? It looks like it, right? They did say it was limited use at the end. Okay.
A player blow into the wing collar and it will throw them back into the air.
You can use it as a means of propulsion for yourself in the water, but also for rowing boats. So you can either use it while you're in the water swimming and you'll blast along like a really fast water boat.
Okay, so interesting thing about that. No, I can't say.
Boatman, or you can stand on a rowing boat and blast it out the back like a speedboat, basically.
You can put out fires and you can do it quickly. So you can just essentially walk around, your entire ship is caught on fire, and just put out all the fires as you walk around.
And they can even use it to like stop their fall damage. Like say you're falling a great distance and you use the wind collar below you, like cushion your fall so you like land safely as well. There is like a finite charge for how long the wind collar can last for. So
okay, good. Yeah, it's a finite charge.
you have to use it wisely.
It didn't look like it had an indicator on it, at least yet, because there was, like, you know how in the Ashenwind Skull, like there's a glowing and you would see like how it would deplete, or on the tridents, when as you use them they begin to deplete. That didn't actually look any different as they were using.
So Season 12 also introduces zip lines onto several of the islands around Sea of Thieves. So you may have seen these as they debuted in the Monkey Island Tall Tales, and they're a really fun and exhilarating way to traverse. So it's really cool to be able to bring those to the wider Sea of Thieves world.
So we've been looking across all the islands of the Sea of Thieves and looking at the most ideal places to kind of mix up the traversal opportunities within all of the islands to add these zip lines across them. So we've added zip lines to like the outpost to get down to your ship quickly. We've added them to the skeleton forts that allow you to kind of zip line between two positions to kind of escape the skeletons or get close to them when they first spawn, or just general kind of zip lines.
Okay, so zip lines is something that we'd been requesting since the Monkey Island thing, but I feel like the addition of the harpoons and being able to go on them, and then the hook shot with the rifle kind of makes this thing just completely pale in comparison to the other ones. Because I mean, these are fixed locations, whereas the harpoon and the other one, you can do that anywhere, and you can walk on them. So while I'm glad they finally brought it in, it just seems like this isn't quite as good. I mean, but since they're in a fixed location, and this is at Ancient Spire, I'm pretty sure that's where that ladder is. Maybe it's not, but that looks like Ancient Spire. But that would be useful right when you come in to be able to zip line down.
Across the islands for like fast travel.
Okay, no, that wasn't Ancient Spire. That is what? Plunder Island?
Traversal and moving chests around the islands quickly.
For example, on Ancient Spire Outpost now, you've got to clunk down some cliffs in order to get to your ship. Now you'll be able to just go and get on the zip line and go flying all the way down to the jetty next to your ship.
So alongside adding
And then like balance across, depending on the angle in which you fire the harpoon, it'll either be like too steep to climb up it, but if you're on the other end, you can actually jump on the harpoon.
Okay, this by itself is going to radically change how we do things in the game.
Line and like slide down it really quickly back to your ship.
We're really confident this will lead to some really inventive player board.
Yes, some really inventive player boarding. Okay, so you know, you usually grapple onto a ship and you hold it and get them on. You can just go across from one ship to another. But I think actually there's going to be so many new uses for that, because there's things that they're not showcasing here that you might not think about. What else has a harpoon on it? How about a harpoon rowboat? Well, that'll just make you be able to get into places that you normally could not. So tuck locations, like we all have, somebody could be here tucking, somebody could be here tucking, but now because of the way that harpoons can work, if you can do that on a harpoon rowboat, you can literally get anywhere in the game now. At the top of a tree where there's no place to get up and around, if you can harpoon up there and then crawl your way up there, you can be tucked in a spot that nobody can get to, and they won't be looking there. So that's where that creativity is going to be coming from. With this, they should allow you to cut the harpoon with your sword. They didn't say anything about that, but I would imagine that's going to be a request. I wonder if there's a way to detach it manually from the harpoon ship besides moving out of range. Right now, you already can. So if you shoot or hit the harpoon, it'll detach it. So typically, if somebody harpoons your ship, you can throw a blunder bomb. You can even snipe the harpoon and it'll retract it. But with the way that they're having this happen, I don't know if they're going to have a way from the harpooned end to be able to detach it or not. At least they didn't say anything in there.
Boarding tactics out there in the sandbox, as well as giving you new ways to traverse the islands.
With all this that we're adding in Season 12, it gives players more...
Down it really quickly back to your ship.
We're really
right to
confident
that
this will
scene
lead
right
to
there.
some really inventive player boarding tactics out there in the sandbox.
So imagine if they weren't coming from there, but the harpoon went right to that tree. Nobody is looking for tuckers in that tree. You see what I'm saying? And then while you're in that tree, you just shoot the harpoon and have it detach, and literally nobody will ever think to look there.
Sandbox, as well as giving you new ways to traverse the islands.
With all this that we're adding in Season 12, it gives players more opportunities to create those stories as
you know
we're
what? I wanna
really
go to this
enriching the
ship
sandbox
now.
of every session.
So we're always really excited to add new tools and mechanics.
This brings the return of Captain Flameheart to the Sea of Thieves.
I was imagining somebody coming over the ship, rope, and detaching it, causing the person to fall in the water. I would imagine so. If they're running across the rope and you find a way to detach it by throwing a blunder bomb, sniping it from a different angle, it should drop them into the water. Big brain play. Hit a chest in a tree. Yes, Slothbeard. That is it. Nobody will find the chest of fortune in the tree. Even if they did, they had better have a harpoon. But that's what I'm saying. The harpoon rowboat, I think, is where it's going to get even trickier, because you can get that thing all the way up an island, because now you can repair them. So even if it's getting damaged, you can repair it. And then you can get it even further into a place where nobody will ever look, because you can now tightrope walk across that.
As Flameheart has been resurrected, so has his Burning Blade ship, and it's back in more monstrous and terrifying form than ever before. So we've reimagined it for Season 13, and it looks incredible. It almost looks like a living entity itself.
So traditionally, world events have been at set locations throughout the world. The Burning Blade is a little different. The Burning Blade is a ship.
Look at that ship! That is amazing! That is an amazing ship!
And therefore moves around the world.
But the twist is, when you've defeated the ship, you have the option to board it and pledge yourself and your crew to Flameheart, enter into his service, and become the crew of the Burning Blade.
Now, that part has me a little bit perplexed. What does that mean? You pledge yourself to the ship. What happens to the ship that you had? If you die on this ship, will it respawn you on this ship? I have a lot of questions about it, but I absolutely love this concept because a while back, Skunk Monkey and I, we did a galleon where we did this, where we became the world event where we had a FOF key, we had a Fort of the Damned key, we had every single marker you could put on a ship, and somebody had to sync us in order to get all of the stuff. We became our own world event, and it was pretty fun. And that's what they look like they're doing here. But I don't know, like, it didn't seem like there was loot on the ship, or what do you get out of doing it? They did mention that you go to different forts and you can complete different things, but you didn't have to have the ship in order to do that. So I have more questions, but I absolutely love this concept.
Essentially becoming a player-created world event yourselves.
So obviously we have to go in big with this one. At a base, it is larger and more formidable than any ship we've seen on the waves.
This ship has 10 cannons. It has...
Wait, let me back up.
So obviously we have to go in big with this one. At a base, it is larger and more formidable than any ship we've seen on the waves.
Okay. Cannons on the back end near the helm. Cannons on the back end near the helm. And they're actually at a higher level. That one's probably going to be harder to shoot at people that are up close. But because it's up higher, you do have a longer range with this. And let's see, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where are the other two? I don't see any on the lower deck. I love this. I want to know, I saw them shooting fire out of it. I wonder, is that something you can do from the helm, or does somebody have to be in a different position? Oh, this thing's going to be fought over so much. This alone is going to bring PvP back into this world. Are those cannons up by the helm? Yeah. Yeah, that is amazing. And I'm trying to get some detail out of it. That's only 6. Or no, there's 8, 9, 10. Right? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. I need a better angle.
Ship has 10 cannons. It has a statue room dedicated to flame hot.
Oh, this is a statue room. Okay, so this is concept art. It's not actually in the ship, but this is going to be in the ship.
At the back, it has a balcony where Flameheart likes to take in the view every morning with his coffee, and most importantly, it's got a massive flamethrower at the front.
Players will be able to pull a lever on their ship and
pull a lever.
Fire 2 massive balls of fire out the front of their ship, which is really interesting because we've never actually had an offensive weapon that's frontal facing before. So I think this is going to create some really interesting dynamic naval combat situations.
So once you take over the Burning Blade, you are on this really powerful warship, and you have a skeleton crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade because the skeletons will come to your aid.
So you could have skeletons repairing while you're on the cannons firing at enemies, which is excellent.
But it's not just about sailing around the world, which of course you can do. It's about completing orders in service of Captain.
I don't think you can, but can you dive with that ship? Go to another server. I'm pretty sure they won't let you do that, but just saying, that might be fun.
Flameheart. So around the world, there'll be numerous skeleton camps.
You'll notice the Reapers of...
All right, new Reapers camp. Let's try to find, did they add harpoons anywhere? There's a gate going out here to the dock. Cannons on this side, and this is all concept art. So, looks like there's an awning. Hopefully on the back end of this, there are harpoons! If they add harpoons to this thing, we'll probably be running Reapers a lot. I don't see anything else in here, though.
Have been conducting excavations on the surface, and they've been dragging up all sorts of ancient artifacts and ancient...
Okay, so this is... All right, front-facing cannon. This is more like a fort. Oh, but this is This isn't Reaper's Hideout. This is one of the new places that they're bringing in. And I don't see anything else around it.
Secrets from below the surface.
Underground, there's basically a chamber with a prism that the players can control to draw out constellations on the ceiling in order to help the ritual come to completion and get that knowledge of the ancients.
Each of these temples contains the secrets of the ancients, secrets that Flameheart wants above anything else. And as part of taking control of the ship, you'll be able to sail around the world, visit these ancient temples deep below these skeleton camps, engaging new puzzle gameplay.
Will these new islands or existing? No, I think they're going to be new, but they might replace some things from the adventures that they've had before. Sunken Grove was supposed to have a temple underneath it, but they stopped that adventure without explaining. So I don't know if it's going to be a new place that you sail to necessarily, or if they're going to alter some of the... I'm going to have to refund you that, J Plaza. And let me turn those off so that they get refunded. I hope, yeah. Well, it doesn't work that way on this thing. But yeah, I was actually looking around to see if there was any islands I can identify.
Discover treasures, but what you're really after is the Orb of Secrets, a new treasure artifact that Flameheart wants. Collecting these secrets will add tribute to the Burning Blade ship.
Okay, so here's something that I really hope that they fine-tune, because this is still way far out before they add this in. So I'm glad they already have a ship. It says work in progress, development footage. So this is just early stages. What if they put a counterpart to that, where you're not just pledging yourself to Flameheart's ship, but to the Athena side that wants to combat them? You don't even necessarily have to have a ship, but something that counteracts what they're doing. Because if they had a mechanic that one side is trying to promote Flameheart and the other side is trying to counteract them, it would promote adventure PvP. That's what the game really needs, is not simply Hourglass. Hourglass is fighting without a purpose other than it's fun to fight. I'm talking about a cause, a purpose where people can literally take sides or even switch sides as they want. That's what they really need in the game. No Frosted Reaches map area, refunding all 3 copies, then buying 4 more copies, but they're active. Very good, very good. At least it's a +1 to it. We should add a ping system. Oh, like look over here. In other news, I got 9 Athena bottles this morning. I haven't even played yet. But Betty sent me a message that on one of her things, she got an Ashen Athena out of it. Well, here for getting most important addition to the game, owls.
Tribute that you collect, the more value will be aboard the Burning Blade. But you will lose the Burning Blade if it sinks or when you choose to go and cash that tribute into Flameheart. So it's really up to you how long you think you...
Wait a minute.
Value will be aboard the Burning Blade. But you will lose the Burning Blade if it sinks or when you choose to go and cash that tribute into Flameheart.
Okay, so when you cash the tribute into Flameheart, you lose the ship. So yeah, you gotta be pretty PvP heavy in order to keep that ship.
So it's really up to you how long you think you can hold on to it with that risk reward, because everybody in the world...
She said risk reward. I don't want to hear anybody telling me that they're on Flameheart's ship and they're just sailing around getting ledgers and books for Umbra's tales, okay? I don't know if you guys saw that, but we sunk a Reaper 5 that said that they were just getting the books and they were upset at us for sinking them because they were Reaper 5 getting Anyways, I'll shut up about that.
World is going to be coming for you. They're going to know you're in there and know you've got high value. So it really becomes this dynamic player-created world event with players versus players in the sandbox.
So even though you can visit these skeleton camps while in control of...
Look at the size of that ship. Oh my goodness. I mean, okay, so there's harpoons up at the front. Wonder if you can tuck right down in there in the mouth of that. That would be awesome. That would be a scene from Pirates. I believe that's where Will hid. But I mean, look at the extension. There's the front mast, and it comes way, way out here. Safer Seas Flame Hearts. Yes, they should have that. This is the best way to add a ship size. Oh, yes. I mean, I think they should have had it like a 4th sail in there. Just make it totally unique. Because you can't customize this one, so they should have had it where, the sails were totally unique.
The Burning Blade, it's not only tightly wedded to that new gameplay, players can also visit them anytime in their adventures. So should players visit these skeleton camps when they're not the crew of the Burning Blade, the skeletons won't be too happy that you've found a way inside these camps, and you'll be engaging in a combat-focused encounter to discover its secrets.
What's really exciting about Season 13 is the interplay of the features and the way that they'll bring players together and combine.
Look at the difference in size. Like they are within medium range for how quickly he shot this and when it landed. This is close to medium range right here. Not even medium. This is close.
To create new story.
And look at the sheer size of this ship. That is so massive. Do you think the Skelly crew would find you tucking on that ship? Depends on where they can get access to. But the skeleton crew does make me wonder a few things, like how often do they respawn? How many do you get? If you're a solo player that actually got on that ship, how much help would they be? Because skeletons currently can't bucket. So even though they can plank, if you're solo, you're going to have to be the one bucketing. But if they're on cannons, maybe, but they're probably going to be like regular. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. With the new throwable that summons skeleton ships, are the skeletons going to be firing that at other ships? Do they just get to throw that out like they do on certain cursed ships? They didn't show any of that here, but I would be interested to know, do skeleton ships now fire a cannonball that summons things on your ship? Because I still think that would be amazing. Just got home from lunch. What did I miss? What are they adding? What a new... Flagon, look at this ship. This is a ship you can get a hold of. This is incredible. If I can get a better shot of that ship somewhere. I'm missing it. Right there.
Crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade because the skeletons will come to your aid.
So you could have...
Burning Blade.
Look at this ship. This is season 13, Flameheart's ship that if you defeat it, you can crew this ship that has 10 cannons and fires fireballs from the front. You're gonna have to go through the VOD. Like we've already gone through a lot of it. It is crazy the amount of things that they are adding just to season 12. And then they showed conceptually what's going on in season 13. Or they showed some footage for season 13, and 14 is more just in concept. And I think that's it. So these things are going to be interesting because they don't show a location. They said they're going to be new, but are they going to take over former forts, and now all of the forts are going to be part of the Burning Blade. I think that's what they're doing with it, because
Blade. The skeleton.
they keep using angles where you can't tell where they are. So I would assume that just like how the Fort of the Damned used to be a fort and then it got upgraded to the Fort of the Damned, I think they're going to do the same thing with all the other forts and turn them into that with constant skeletons on them. Can't believe we're actually getting Season Thieves 4, Sea of Thieves 4. I know. This is a totally new game. Totally new game with this. So so let me go back over this crazy device. Okay, so Flagon, if you're just seeing this, check out this new weapon. This is Season 14, work in progress. It's not completely done yet, but let's go over this part again. Yes, a harpoon rifle.
Which is a dual-purpose rifle. So it allows you to traverse the environment much quicker because you're able to grapple yourself up to a...
Can you imagine? Can you imagine how hard it is to get people with this thing?
a ledge, for example. But you can also harpoon items and other players in.
So some of the...
There was nothing on there that... let me back it up a little bit.
For example. But you can also...
See, zoomed in, and there is no marker for where center of screen is or where you're going to be hitting. So just like the regular harpoon gun, you're going to have to learn how to use it efficiently and where center of screen is. Just saying, there's no targeting system like the Eye of Reach. So wait, is this harpoon gun a new weapon type or a loot item? By the way that he's using it, I'm guessing it's going to be one of the new weapons that you have to use. I'm guessing, because they were talking about ammo that you have to have for it with every successive hit that you get with it. A handheld toy for swipe and loot? Yes. So that's what's going to be crazy. You can't put your chest of fortune on the front of the ship anymore.
Or harpoon items and other players in.
So some of the new cool
Just
uses we've
that.
seen from the grapple gun in our early playtests are, players firing themselves out of the cannon towards another ship to try and board them, and perhaps overcooking it and then using the grapple gun to fire it at the...
That alone is going to have so many deck shots. That is going to make everybody a deck shot champion.
deck and propel themselves down onto...
Okay, so right there, he went from that rifle to his sword.
Or jumping off...
I'm guessing that it's going to be another weapon. Even though they didn't specifically say that, I'm guessing so because of it does have an ammo consumption. And he's using it as a weapon. It's more like a utility or a tool.
their ship to like an oncoming ship and then using the grapple gun to kind of grapple up and onto their ship so that they can board.
Okay, that's actually a really good showcase. He didn't go for the ladder. He went for the side where people probably won't notice him boarding. This means that it's going to be hard to repel boarders on a galleon because of this.
Board them and drop their anchor or have a fight with them.
To make sure that the grapple gun is balanced, it does have ammunition. You'll have arrowheads, and these essentially break off when you successfully use the grapple gun, meaning you can't continuously keep grappling. There is a skill to using the gun successfully and accurately and efficiently.
So when we think about 2024, we really...
Okay, it didn't show ammo down in the lower case, but that's probably because it's still in early development. And mind you, they only showcased this with the season 14 stuff, which they didn't even show any of that stuff. So early concept. But the fact that they could actually just showcase what it is means that they're probably going to fine tune that a lot more, because they still got another. That might not even come until October, November, sometime. So they have plenty of time to fine tune that thing. It's going to be disgusting. Yes, it is. They did say that it was a weapon at the beginning of the segment. Okay, good. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I didn't catch that part, but I would imagine it would be, because it would be too overpowered if it was like a fishing rod, just something you already had on your inventory. That would be too much, and you'd have too many other weapons on you. So I hope that keeps it balanced. That if you're gonna have that thing, you need. Oh man, for you fishermen, that could be horrible. So that they run down, grab your fishing barrel, then harpoon themselves onto a different ship. I just imagine there's going to be a lot of trying to catch up with somebody with a weapon like that.
Really think about getting to the very heart of what makes Sea of Thieves great. That is your stories, powered by that design philosophy of tools, not rules.
Tools, not rules. That is exactly what this year is going to be all about. Tools, not rules. I think we've gone over everything there, but my goodness, I am so excited for the, like, that's why I've been like, I want to talk about this stuff, because it is crazy the things that they brought to the game that will revitalize that goofiness and silliness that drew me to the game in the first place. And it's just going to enhance it, because now there's plenty of things that everybody has available to them that will just make it that much more fun. Pirate Spider-Man, exactly. That's why our eyes were glowing yesterday. Yeah, yes. And we haven't even got to all of it yet. We haven't even got to all of it. I'm only commenting on the things that they put in this video. And I'm trying not to go outside of it, but there's still, I don't want to say plenty more, but there's imagination could go in certain directions, but I can't say because they didn't do a fully detailed version of it. They might come out with a more fully detailed version of Season 12 later this week or in the next 2 weeks, because they just have a track record of doing that, where they go over generally what it is, and then they might come back in and say specifically, okay, let's flesh out some of these other things. So that could be coming pretty soon. Stop trying to fix quick swap and give us tools to beat it. Yes. Well, I mean, so let's say like you have somebody that's getting away and you have a harpoon gun. Can you harpoon another person? You see what I'm saying? That harpoon gun's going to come in ugly. You just snipe people off of cannons. Or you jump into the water, harpoon them off of their own cannon, and put them in the water. Do you see what I'm saying? There's going to be so many different... It said you can harpoon people. You see what I'm saying? There's so many different ways you could use these tools in different scenarios. That's going to make the game way goofier, way sillier, or it's just going to breed more trolls. Yeah, I think it's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. It's going to be great. Hey, Texas Rebel Mama. Just want to pop in and say hello. Been watching the updates, lurking and listening while playing. Yeah, I am so excited about this. Like, this is crazy big stuff. And I hope that the PlayStation launch goes perfectly well. No bugs, no nothing. And I pray that they actually fix these bugs to make it enjoyable for people, because I know a lot of people are getting a lot of crashes right now. And I think some of it has to do with linking to the account with the anti-cheat. The anti-cheat is causing some problems, but hopefully they flesh all those things out. Sorry, I'm gonna advert Oblivion for another. Oh, my bad. I think throwing darts. Excited, wrestling, interesting. Yeah, so when they were talking about that stuff, just take it with a grain of salt, because they didn't have any showcase abilities with it. Just some things that they were thinking about. And the reason why I'm hesitant to listen to what they're saying when they have conceptual ideas is because in the past, Like they've floated ideas like once you get Pirate Legend, you will come, your ship spawn will be in the Pirate Legend hideout and you come out from the Pirate Legend hideout. That's what that ship was supposed to be there for. It was supposed to be your ship that you would set up as a Pirate Legend. They announced that as something that they were going to bring into the game, but they didn't have any footage of it, and it just fell by the wayside. So they said it was just in concept. So that's why I don't necessarily, when they just float out a concept and say we'd like to do this, until I see some in-game footage of what it is that they're trying to do, because that's when I know they've actually laid some groundwork to make it happen, and it's moved outside of simply concepting. So that's why anytime it's just a concept, I take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, still hype for the ideas in general, though. Yeah, I want to know what they mean by that when they say stealth, because crouching itself isn't necessarily stealth against other people. I would be rather disappointed if crouching made you go invisible in some sense, because I know that can be very manipulated. Anti-cheat isn't 100%, and I want to see what they mean. But I am glad for some of this, like the stealth system along with the knife. That sounds like a lot of fun, and those weapons actually do bring more of a piracy to the game. Hiding chests seems hilariously on point for Sea of Thieves. Yes. Yeah. Wait, what? Night? Oh, Flagon. All right, I'll go back over this. Flagon, you missed the early part of it. I'm gonna show you. Okay, so this is a double shot pistol that's coming to the game in season 12.
It's a flintlock pistol, but then it has those kind of blunderbuss-like qualities as well.
It will do a little bit less damage than a regular pistol, but it has 2 barrels and 6 shots. You can use both barrels at the same time, but it has a shorter range than the pistol.
At range as well.
You can...
The dagger. You can use it as a thrusting tool, like he's using it here.
Use it to kind of like stab players with like a quick attack, but that doesn't do much damage. Or you
says that doesn't do much damage to do the thrust.
Can charge it to like pull it into this kind of more...
That attack is interesting. They didn't show like how much damage it does, but I'll just say that's interesting.
Dangerous stabbing motion, that'll slow the player's movement down and give this like really high damage attack for if you like sneak up behind players. And then finally it has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which...
So here's another thing that I should back it up and let me slow it down. We'll go at 25%. Right here. Oh, I went just a little bit too far.
Distance.
Look at where this hand is.
Against play.
He's releasing the knife just as the finger got to this guy's chin. Look where the knife hits, right at his chin. So, even bad players that are not as good at shooting like me can know where you're going to be hitting. Proper throwing knife technique here. Exactly.
Again, kind of feels like a trick shot, and they'll do
Okay, right about his belt.
a lot of damage.
And it hit his shoulder because he's moving backwards.
When you...
So those are the 2 new weapons that are coming to Season 12. Is there a limit to that? Yes. So it showed ammo 5.
Attack for if you like sneak up behind players. And then finally it has the ability to kind of flip the knife over, catch it, and then throw it at distance against players, which...
You didn't actually show it down here. Okay, but they had already said that when you throw a knife, if it sticks into an object, you can go retrieve the knife. Or if somebody else throws a knife at you and you have knives equipped, you can pick up their ammo. It doesn't say how long the knife is going to stay there or anything, but you can. It's retrievable ammo. And since it's ammo, I would imagine you can use the ammo box to refill it. 5 throws, but you can pick up the misses. Yeah, well, that's what it doesn't actually showcase that here. But given the history of 5 shots, we can at least assume it'll be 5. But don't know until release. Let's see. But you need to have it equipped like a normal weapon? Yes. So in our ammo box in Season 12, we're going to have 6 options instead of 4. So I'll probably have to change my weapon swap channel point redemption. I'll probably put like a randomizer in there and make it super goofy. Like I'm going to have a sword and knife or double pistol and pistol. Like, I don't know. I'll put a randomizer in there instead of a swap. Harpoon knife meta. It'd be so crazy. But harpoons aren't coming until about Season 14. A little faith will bring your soul to heaven. Great faith will bring heaven to your soul. Oh, doesn't that sound nice?
Again, kind of feels like a trick shot, and it'll do a lot of damage as well.
When you throw a throwing knife, and if you miss, you can actually go in the world and it'll stick into any of the geometry, and you can just pull it out, and then it'll replenish your ammo. So I think personally, for me, this is really good because sometimes I miss, as I'm sure some of us do. So you can then just go ahead and pick it up again.
So you get these wonderful moments where a pirate might throw a knife at you, but then you can retrieve that knife and throw it back to them. So it'll really mix up the kind of combat scenarios you can expect out in the world.
There's so many things that they are bringing to this game that I absolutely love. I absolutely love this. I'm very glad because it's like a re-release of a game that I already love and bringing it to the next level. This does seem like a Sea of Thieves 2, a completely different game. To pick it up, do you both have to have knives equipped? Yeah. In order to do that, you would have to have, because it's going to be a weapon. You know what? But I don't know if somebody throws it into the wall and you don't have knives equipped, will it take away his ammo? I don't know.
And when boarding other ships.
There are 3 new tools in Season 12, the Wind Caller, the Scatter Shot, and the Bone Caller. Defeated the ship, you have the option to board it.
Create some really interesting dynamic naval combat situations.
So would you...
That ship is just amazing.
You take over the
I
burning...
want to pick apart some of it and see what it can. So it kind of looks like a little bit more of a cage-like thing back here. I mean, it kind of looks like the same as a galleon.
Blade, you are on this really powerful...
But it's got a canopy over the top of it here that's a little bit different. And it looks like there's something like an awning over the back end.
Warship, and you have a skeleton crew helping you as well. So even smaller crews have every chance of crewing the Burning Blade because the skeletons will come to your aid.
So you could have skeletons repairing while you're on the cannons firing at enemies, which is excellent.
But it's not just about sailing around the world, which of course you can do. It's about completing
this dynamic player-created world event with players versus players in the sandbox.
So even though you can...
Maybe the brig, you lock people in. Okay, no, actually this is a better shot. Yeah, so there is an awning in the back here. Looks open. I wonder what that space would actually be used for. I don't actually even see the wheel. Where would that be? Got harpoons up in the front. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay, yeah. So there are 10 cannons. I kind of like that this cannon back here is right next to where the helm normally is. Yeah. So how many of you are with me that we're going straight for this thing when this thing comes out? What ship is that? Oh, hun, this is the season 13 Flameheart ship that you can take control of and go do events, and you are the world event. Sailing around on this massive thing that's got 10 cannons on it and shoots fireballs from the front. That is insane. Oh, and you get a skeleton, like a literal skeleton crew that will help plank and shoot and do everything on the ship. That is crazy. How many people? It's not one that you spawn in with. Like, it's not a ship that you select. You have to defeat it, and then you can control the ship. So once you control the ship, whatever size your crew is can go on the ship, and skeletons will spawn in as your crew, and you do whatever it is that you want to do while you're on the ship. You are a world event. So you can go around and hunt people. I don't see any flags up here. So I don't know if you might not have an option for an alliance, which it shouldn't. It should not. I hope that they do not allow alliance with this thing. Like, it would just be totally PvP. Imagine solo slooping that. Well, that's what they had mentioned, is that you could solo sloop this thing, or with a smaller ship, because the skeleton crew will help to repair the ship and do everything else. But skeletons don't bucket, so you might have to bucket yourself, which solo that would still be difficult to just, helm the ship and go bucket. Yeah, because the skeletons are your crew. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a ton of fun, and it looks really cool. I don't see any islands out here, and this one does not necessarily look like one of the islands that... This might just be a new fort? I don't know, because they're not letting you see anything else around here. So I don't know where these kinds of places are going to be. No. I mean, you need to defeat that as a... Yes. If you want to complete the event, you have to defeat that as a solo sloop. I mean, you can do it with a crew, but... Yeah, you can take down this ship with 10 cannons and fireballs that shoot from the front. What if that replaces SoT? Well, they're saying that these towers are going to be there's going to be multiple ones of them throughout Sea of Thieves. You have to go to each one while you're the Flameheart ship and get a new piece of loot that Flameheart wants, and you offer it to him as tribute. And depending on how many you give, you gain more reward. But the longer you are this ship, everybody is coming after you. So it's a risk-reward type of thing. I would hope that if you have this ship, like you get a bonus as if you're like a Reaper 5. I would hope so. It's just incredible.
Feel that value. Everything Thing in Season 13 will bring you together.
Look at that. Look at the size of those ships. That thing is so big. I mean, galleons already look intimidating. I wish they would have put a galleon right next to it so you can compare the two. All right. I think I've said all I can about what they have in store. So, Season 12. I am hyped for Season 12. More so for 13 now, and I didn't think that I was going to be more hyped for Season 13 than I was for 12. But there were certain things that I didn't know that were going to be included in 12, because I thought they were going to be things later on. But I'm glad to see they're going to make the launch for Season 12. I mean, Season 12, we're going to have all of this brand new stuff coming into the game just for that. So I am really hyped. I hope you guys are as well. So I'm going to go ahead and head out.